Alright guys, I had some lunch and a drink so that I could finish filming today, and I have my favorite palettes for 2020. So hopefully this doesn't take nearly as long as the rest of my favorites, but let's get started. So the first thing I want to say is I'm just gonna go by whatever I grab in here. There's no any particular order, and to be honest, they're all my babies, so I couldn't really just choose one. So the first thing I grabbed, because it is ginormous, is this Glam Light donut palette. I have to admit I'm obsessed with the packaging for Glam Light. I also have the ice cream truck one, but this one I feel like beat it out because this was the first one, the first taste that I had of Glam Light this year or ever. And this palette really blew me away with the packaging, but then also the shadows inside. The quality of these mattes and shimmers are phenomenal from an indie brand. And this glaze shade, it's supposed to be a highlight, which I would not use as a highlight, but it is absolutely stunning. And I mean, look at that. It's just, her formula is stunning, her packaging is top notch, and I just think that this is an amazing brand. And this palette, when I look at it, just those few shades really gives me a lot of inspiration of so many things to do, and I just love this palette. The next thing I'm gonna grab is, just because it's large and I'm just gonna pull all the corresponding ones that kind of go with it, is the BH Cosmetics palette. I haven't done, this is the Naughty palette. I haven't done a video with this, but I have played with it, and I will tell you right now that the colors are true to pan. All of the colors are true to pan. All of the mattes that I have played with are stunning and blendable and gorgeous and shimmery, and I just want to say that BH Cosmetics probably stole my heart the most this year. I've always been a fan of them. One of my friends, Carla, got me into BH Cosmetics way back before, when I was pregnant with my son. She did my makeup for my baby shower, and she used all BH Cosmetics products, and I just felt so glamorous and beautiful that day. And I've always purchased their products, but this year their eyeshadows went to the next level. The first thing that brought me to that realization this year was the Summer in St. Tropez palette. This was a bright, beautiful, colorful palette, lots of beautiful mattes, but the shimmers in here were neutral and beautiful and shiny and glittery and just everything you would want. There's legit, like, really beautiful, like, dually chrome shades in here that are quite special, I think. I don't know if like the camera is going to be able to pick up on how gorgeous they are. If you like haven't tried this palette, I highly recommend it. So this was the first one that I really just stole my heart this year from BH, and then I went into the Blueberry Muffin, and the internet went crazy with this palette because it is stunning. The formula is gorgeous. The color story they got just right, and you couldn't ask for a better palette. And then they followed that up with the Avocado Toast palette, and this was everybody's fall favorite because it just had all those gorgeous grungy tones with the neutrals, and it was for everybody for every day, and I just can't get enough of these palettes. So those are the four ones that I loved. I did try also Trendy in Tokyo, which I felt like did not meet up to the quality and standards of BH Cosmetics normal formula, but I will give them a pass because they've done so many great things. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, apparently I have a trend with blues and greens because I found myself using this palette a lot. This is the Ace Beauty Oceanic palette. Like, I know a lot of people were talking junk about some of their old formulas and stuff like that, and I think this palette may have been or may have not been mentioned, but I actually really love this palette. I haven't had any issues with this palette. The colors are beautiful. It has beautiful mid-tones. It really goes dark and deep where I want it to, and I reached for this so much. another blue-green palette for me that I became obsessed with. Actually, I'll go in order. After that one, I became obsessed with this Alter Ego Gold palette, which really, really, really stole my heart and made me obsess over Natasha Denona, made me lust over Natasha Denona. And this was a dupe, but it was so done so well, it made me want to buy the real thing. Now, I didn't end up buying the gold palette, which is that's the dupe for. This is the Alter Ego Goddess. But I ended up buying from there the little Natasha Denona mini star palette. And I really got to experience Natasha Denona's quality, and this was just what got me hooked, lined, and synced. It is a gorgeous everyday palette. You could just take it on the go, throw it in your purse, just do a quick color in the morning, go to work. It just is beautiful. I fell in love with this. And then to follow that, I actually decided to make the plunge and buy the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. And there goes all the greens and blues again. Of course, that became my trend this year. I just lived in these blues and the greens. I lived there. It was just so much fun. Then another palette that I was playing around with a lot, and I want to, it was because of a YouTuber, I want to say Arnell or something. I'm going to link her YouTube below if I remember. But she did a Pat McGrath look with one of the Mothership palettes that this is a dupe for. And this is the Revolution Pro Night and Day palette. I had this in my collection because it just caught my eye. And then after watching that tutorial, I followed it with this palette. It did such an amazing job. I felt like my look looked very similar to hers, that I became obsessed with this palette, especially these kind of special shades here. I just thought it was really, really stunning and just gorgeous eyeshadow palette. So the white one is this one here, and then this is that other shade. It's kind of like a dual chrome between like a pink and a taupe and a green. I don't know. It's really, really pretty. And this baked formula is stunning. I love this a lot. Another Natasha Denona palette that I purchased and became obsessed with was around Valentine's Day. This was the Love palette, and I love purples. As you can see, those are the ones that I dipped in the most, but I really love this shade here. It's a gorgeous like pink to peach dual chrome shade with a lot of textural sparkle to it. And I really love kind of sparkly textured eyeshadows, so that one is probably what stood out the most to me in this palette, and I really got a lot of use out of this for a lot of purple looks. I'm gonna save the biggest surprise for last and just talk about this Charlotte Tilbury Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette. This was actually one that surprised me because it was really neutral. I didn't think I was gonna love it. It had enough color in there that I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And the shimmers in here are really, really stunning. They have kind of like a wet look to the eye, and I don't really have a lot of formulas that do that. I can't really think of any that do that. Most of the time with shadows, I tend to be drawn to the ones that are really flaky and glittery. And this one has like a kind of glitter to it, but they're like almost smooth and wet. And I felt like that was really, really unique. And I really ended up reaching for this a lot more than I thought it would because of that texture, which really is all the shimmers in this palette. All right, this was I'm calling this the Redemption palette. This is the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette, and this I feel was her redemption palette. After the Rose Mothership, the little mini Rose Mothership, Pat McGrath really had to pull out all the stops to gain people back, because I was not the only one who was really, really disappointed about that palette. It wasn't a horrible palette, but for the money, it wasn't a great palette. And then she came out with this. and stole all of our hearts, including mine. This shade right here is a dual chrome, and it is so stunning. I don't even know if the camera's gonna get that. It's like pink to green, beautiful shade. This right here is another dual chrome, this one right here, and again, that flaky, beautiful texture that I love in an eyeshadow. Pretty much 85% of this palette is that. So I obviously have to reach for other palettes to get more matte shades, but this is phenomenal. I will eventually be looking into possibly getting more Pat McGrath, but it's just so expensive. And so the last palettes I want to talk about are the ones that literally shook me to the core, because I did not expect them to impress me at all, honestly. I really did not think that I felt like it was gonna, this is gonna sound so bad, like it was gonna be that elf palette, which was the one, it had like the cool tones and the warm tones that everybody was raging about. I thought it was gonna be like that palette, that I was gonna purchase it and then be like, this is not special. And these are the She Glam palettes. I have 4 of them because they were so affordable. I purchased so many of them. There is the Seafoam, the Desert, the Blossom, and the Breeze palette. And I did do a video using the Breeze palette, and the mattes in these palettes are not great. They're not horrible either. They're doable, right? You can work with them. But the shimmer shadows are, this is a dual chrome from pink to peach that is just so stunning and actually really glittery. Also, like the purple in here, beautiful glittery gleaming shades. The blue, blue to purple dual chrome for $4. They did that in this palette. They give you in this Blossom one some really good golds, and then they give you another dual chrome, the shade Venus, that is even stronger gold to red dual chrome in a very beautiful shimmery formula. This palette here, Desert, they give you a dual chrome and also these other beautiful shimmery shades. This purple one I don't think is a dual chrome here on the side, but then you have this one, which is like pink to gold or purple to gold. Beautiful shades. I reach for these palettes all of the time. I will do a look using these other ones, and when I want that extra oomph to it, I'm pulling at these ones, which is crazy to me that I'm reaching for a $4 shadow to put on top of, you know, a more expensive one. But these are stunning, and to be honest, if I didn't include them in my 2020 best, like, I would be lying, because I reach for them all of the time. They really are some of my favorite eyeshadows. So that is it. That is my 2020 favorite eyeshadows. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button so you can come back and hang out with me some more. And until next time, love you guys. Bye.